Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed if you are. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, while you're at it, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation/reality chat. All right, guys. I don't know if you've seen the thumbnail, okay? But I saw some things recently and I was just perplexed, and I'm wondering. Now, on the most recent episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Martell, better known as Hotel, his face, I don't know if somebody got to him and finally wanted to just go off on him physically for all the BS that he has been doing to his ex-wife, but his face looked swollen. So at first I was like, did he get punched in the eye? Did he get punched in both eyes? Now, his face probably would have been black and blue and a bit more swollen underneath the eye area if that did happen. So I said, well, maybe he got some facial work done. And on that first episode of the season, he was getting a facial. Now, estheticians, like the chick that was at his house, they don't do things like that. So she would only be doing things on the surface level. So she would not be giving him fillers and Botox and things like that. Or like he says, things of that nature. Okay. And then I saw this Bravo after show for the Real Housewives of Atlanta on YouTube. And it was all of the ladies. They were all in separate scenes. And one, I believe it was Candy and Drew, I believe. Kenya was by herself. And then in the other, it was Sanya, Sheree, and Marlo. Sheree's face, her face was so, in my personal opinion, her face was so puffy. Her eyes looked like they could barely open. And I get it. She had on some dark lashes, but the eyes look really, really puffy and around the cheek areas. And so putting two and two together, it really looked like Martell and Sheree got fillers together. Now, I know that they're not together, but in my personal opinion, I feel that these two, maybe he got hooked up to whatever plastic surgeon or dermatologist or whoever she sees. She probably gets the hookup because we know that she doesn't really like to pay for anything. So she probably got him the hookup and he got some fillers when he travels down to Atlanta because they both look horrible. His face looked tragic. Her face looked like, why did you go that far? Sheree is not an ugly woman at all. But if you compared her face, if you see the thumbnail and you compared her face on there to her face when she was even on the episode that she was on of Love and Marriage Huntsville, her face just did not look like that. And that scene was filmed months ago, last year, I believe, even sometime it was. So she's just, in my personal opinion, been going overboard. And so she was doing the sit down with the girls and they were discussing some things from the most recent episode as just well as overall. Kenya was asked about Kim Zolciak's divorce and asking, they asked her, did she think that the divorce situation was real? And she said, I think that they're doing it to try to do something with the finances because they're in a lot of debt and they're trying to separate this and that and the other. So they were asking things in real time because they were being asked questions. I didn't hear anyone ask Sheree any questions about Hotel. And I'm like, is she ever going to admit that they were faking this relationship? Is anyone going to ask her that question? We know that the reunion has not been filmed yet. I'm quite sure that question is going to come up because with all of this stuff going on recently, even as recent as his baby mom, Coleslaw, talking about how she and he are having family time with the kids when Melody was telling her to pull up, it really makes Sheree look even more foolish. We already know that she loves to be in these struggle situations. She does not have the best history of dating that we have seen of her on the show. But it just makes her look even more desperate. This chick is a grandma at this point in time. A grandmama, a granny. I know she wants to say she's a glamma, but no, you're a grandma, okay? You're a grandma who was screwing a loser who's dating a very immature, childish chick who you couldn't tell me she wasn't a day over 16, 17 years old. That's what she acts like. And this is the type of person that you're screwing and you have a grandchild. Like, it's just really strange. And so looking at their faces, looking like they got fillers together, and she's having to sit down with the girls from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they're being asked questions about other people's situations and even their own stuff, because Marlo was answering a question about a blind date that she went on and things like that. I'm like, is someone going to ask Sheree about faking this relationship with Hotel? Is she ever going to even admit it if they asked her the question? But man, the faces that they both had, just so ironically, this episode, I don't know of Love and Marriage Huntsville when it was filmed to when it aired, which was this past Saturday. I didn't watch it on Saturday, but I'm just saying. And then seeing Sheree with the ladies of Real Housewives of Atlanta, literally just saw this because their episode aired on Sunday. And I don't know if that Real Housewives of Atlanta Bravo TV after show thing aired on YouTube the same day or night or the next day. But I saw it yesterday, which was Monday. And when I saw her face, I was owned in on it. I was like, this is unreal. They both look terrible. Oh my God. Martell looked like, somebody just gave him a 1-2 punch in both eyes because both of them were swollen. He seemed like he could barely open his eyes. He opened them enough to see Letitia's BBL, that is for sure. But that face was definitely swollen. And I wouldn't be mad if somebody gave him a 1-2 punch and closed both of his eyes shut. But it looked like he got fillers. That's what it really looked like. So to see his face, to see Sheree's face, to see how she's sitting there talking about other people's relationships. She's talking about Kim and how Kim is just really having a rough time. This obviously was recorded before Kim and Croy came out and made this announcement that they have decided to call off their divorce. But if you watch this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, I didn't watch it, but I just saw the scene that the quote unquote OGs, the OG dinner, which was just really ridiculous. It was Sheree, Deshaun Snow, Lisa Wu, and Kim Zolciak. And to see all of them coming together, to see Kim's face, to see her like doing the normal things that she does, which is lie. She was talking about, do you think I would let my house go into foreclosure for $200,000 when I've put millions of dollars into it? I mean, it's the same thing that she was saying on the little videos that she put out when she was responding to the reports of their home going into foreclosure. And it's like, you didn't put your home in foreclosure. The bank put the home in foreclosure because you didn't pay your bills. So she does that thing that she does where she will spin stuff, just like when she spinned it about there was a house that they were renting that they allegedly were going to buy. It's a house that they actually got married in. And that house, they decided not to buy it again because the house didn't appraise for what the sellers wanted to sell it for. But the seller said, no, we're evicting them. We're evicting them out of the home. And I believe that lady overheard, but she likes to spin things. Okay. And then she says, well, I wouldn't put my home in foreclosure, because that's actually what she said. I wouldn't put my home in foreclosure. And it's like, girl, nobody puts their home in foreclosure. The bank puts your home in foreclosure. You allowed it to get to that point because you didn't pay your bills. Lisa Wu, she just looked tired and drained. Deshawn Snow, she was doing the thing that she usually does, which is not really speak a lot. The scene just looked really forced. But Kim was just being as fake as ever, and she was sitting there talking about her and Croy and how everything was just so perfect, and she knew it was meant to be. And then to see that scene play out during the time that they were going through a divorce, of course, now they called it off. And the whole thing just really looks fake at this point in time, and that they were doing it for more attention, and maybe they secured a show, another reality show. But the OG dinner, so to speak, it was just really something that Sheree, I don't even know if Sheree put it together, but girl, Candy's been on that show longer than you have been on at this point in time. I even believe Kenya's probably been on longer than Sheree has been on. So who really cares if all of these women started out on the show together? None of you all were really friends. So to say that you always have this bond and this connection, no, you just have that in common. The fact that you were all on the first season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So you have something in common, but you do not have a bond, because Lisa Wu really just looked like she was irritated being there. She looks like she still can't really stand Kim Zolciak, but she said, well, I don't hate you. And it's like, you might as well, because I can feel the energy and you don't see it for her. And that's okay. That is completely fine. But Sheree, Martell, and those fillers, those faces, she faked the relationship. She'll do the fake faces, doing the fillers. They both just look horrible. And Sheree is really looking tragic out here. Having claimed that man, this is something that is going to be out there forever. She is on this show with this loser. And now, it's good riddance to the remnants of him. We knew that the relationship was fake, but you allowed this to be out there. And now he's forever got a place on his resume of being on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it's thanks to you. You're always helping out these losers that don't deserve it. But I don't know, maybe it's because Bob gave her a chance in the first place. Because, listen, say what you want about Bob, but the courts clearly saw more in his favor when it came to she and him and that child support and that alimony and that divorce settlement. So, guys, I don't know. Sheree, she's just hopeless at this point. She's a woman of a certain age. And a lot of times you just get to the point where it's just hard to change. She's going to stay superficial, stay getting the fillers, and stay doing the fake stuff for the sake of the camera, and still act as if she's winning. But yeah, let me know what you think about Martell and Sheree's faces. Do you think that they got fillers together? Let me know what you think about her and this fake relationship that she still has not admitted to us as being just that. Will she ever do it? Will they ever press her on it? And let me know what you think about the OG dinner that they had on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.